Change of guards at ECOWAS. President Bola Tinubu hands over baton to Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone. The Gambia seeks cooperation with Nigeria to re-engineer its agricultural sector. Nigerian Navy and National Hydrographic Agency collaborate to enhance economic growth and maritime security in West Africa. Hello and welcome to the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. I'm Nancy Godi Angonihu. President Bola Tinubu has handed over to President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone. He is the new chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, taking over from President Bola Tinubu, who held the position for 2 terms. The handing over was at the 67th ordinary session of the authority in Abuja. State House correspondent Musbah Denuhab reports.
It was the first ordinary session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in the Golden Jubilee year. The session celebrated the 15 founding fathers of the community, including the only surviving one, General Yakubu Gowon of Nigeria. But then, a more significant moment was in the offing as President Tinubu gave his valedictory speech after serving 2 terms as chairman of the authority. He highlighted achievements under his watch, but recognized the lingering challenges, which include security threats and political transition, as he called on member states not to lose guard on the issues.
I remain confident that with the continued cooperation of all its members, ECOWAS will scale over greater heights in our collective pursuit of peace, security, stability, and prosperity for our people and for our region.
And then President Tinubu was elected chairman of the authority in Guinea-Bissau barely a month after he became the president of Nigeria and returned for the 2nd term last July, finally hands over as the authority elected President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone as the new chairman.
Thank you for your experience and leadership.
And the new helmsman, who commended his predecessor for his service in the past 2 years, appreciated the long-standing challenges and the evolving ones, including terrorism, transitional crimes, food shortage, and climate change. But he put forward 4 priority areas to tackle the challenges. These include restoring constitutional order and deepening democracy, revitalization of regional security cooperation, unlocking economic integration, and building institutional credibility.
ECOWAS must reform itself and become more transparent, efficient, and responsive to its people's needs. This is how we will rebuild the trust in regional cooperation. I believe West Africa's future is not one of decline, but of possibility, if we act with courage, urgency, unity, and moral clarity.
The new chairman has a 1-year initial term. In Abuja, Musbah Nanwahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has reiterated its commitment to maintaining dialogue with the 3 Sahelian nations that recently withdrew from the regional bloc. The stance was emphasized by the ECOWAS Commission President Omar Aliyu Toure during a press briefing following the conclusion of the 67th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government. The resolution was part of the communique at the end of the summit underlining ECOWAS' determination to foster unity and sustainable development across West Africa. Garbanata Allah reports.
The takeaways at the 67th Ordinary Session of the community concluded with decisive resolutions aimed at strengthening regional integration, security, and democratic governance. Some of the notable outcomes include enhancing trade by revising grey areas, from completion of projects in energy, infrastructure development, settlement of financial dues by member states, to adoption of reports by the ECOWAS Council of Ministers, among other issues. The bloc also maintained that doors of negotiation with Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger remains open, while commending efforts of Senegal's president in mediation, as well as presidents of Togo and Ghana.
With regard to trade, meaning we will continue to trade as West Africa. With regard to the movement of people, we will continue to enjoy the free movement of people. Although they are out of ECOWAS, citizens holding passports from these countries bearing ECOWAS logos will continue to be treated as valid documents. And we have the freedom to move to either side of the across the region. We can settle anywhere across the region.
On upholding democratic transitions, a timeline has been set for Guinea's transition to hold elections in Guinea-Bissau in November this year and in the Gambia come 2026.
The other element I want to add here is the progress that has been registered at the level of the United Nations Security Council, where Resolution 2719 has been adopted. For the first time, this resolution will allow peace support operations to be funded from UN assessed contribution. This is a major game changer, and we have been working with our partners to ensure that the implementation of the resolution goes smoothly.
While celebrating progress at 50, ECOWAS leaders emphasized the urgency in tackling security threats, economic hurdles, and governance challenges to ensure stability in West Africa, and also underpinned the need to take note of humanitarian situation arising from massive displacement of population in the region. In Abuja, Garib Muhammad Atala, NTA News.
And still within the ECOWAS sub-region, the Gambia is seeking collaboration with Nigeria to develop its agricultural plans, policies and programs. The request was forwarded to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security by a delegation from the Gambia. Musa Baba Aliyu reports.
A delegation from the Gambia visiting the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja. The objective of the visit is to learn about Nigeria's food security programs. Led by the Gambian Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Dambel Sabali.
Really capable.
Sabali expressed the Gambia's interest in understanding Nigeria's advancements in crop production, especially rice, to bolster their own agricultural efforts.
Gambia's trajectory to rice self-sufficiency is 2030 at the most. And at this point, I think our trip has doubled our confidence that rice self-sufficiency in the Gambia is very, very possible with support from Nigeria.
Abubakar Kyari affirmed Nigeria's commitment to providing support, highlighting the country's leadership in food production across West Africa. He welcomed the Gambia for initiating the collaborative effort to enhance food production and drive economic growth.
Gambia is one of ours. We need to partner, we need to collaborate. We're not going there to just have an ambassador there to teach you, but also to partner with you.
Your coming here has also given us more confidence as a nation that when we look inwards, we can solve our own problem. And that we have success stories today that another country wants to learn, and not just another country, but the Gambia.
The Gambia, heavily reliant on food imports, aims to boost local production of staple foods through this collaboration with Nigeria. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nigeria, through the Nigerian Navy and National Hydrographic Agency, has unveiled the Port of Calabar chart, marking a navigational milestone which the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mohammed, says signals a new era of economic growth and maritime security in West Africa. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports that this was at the West African Hydrographic Summit in Abuja. Her report.
With pride, the Minister of State Defense and key figures at the West African Hydrographic Summit and World Hydrography Day celebration in Abuja unveil the Port of Calabar chart, describing the moment as a significant step towards further reducing piracy and boosting opportunities in the blue economy sector.
The urgent need to understand and manage our marine environment cannot be overstated. Seabed mapping is no longer a technical luxury, it is a strategic imperative.
In the last 1 year, we have expanded our chart production capabilities, deepened our technical expertise, and strengthened our collective ties with the Nigerian Navy, academia, and the private sector. In particular, we have promoted unbroken bilateral and international engagements with other nations and international partners.
This achievement, he explains, is poised to unlock significant economic potential, including increased revenue generation and job creation in the blue economy sector, which is projected to boost the country's GDP and further establish Nigeria as a major player in West Africa's maritime industry. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
A 43-year-old female makeup artist was arrested by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. The suspect, who claimed to be traveling to India for a fibroid surgery, had cocaine factory-fitted in her bag. Additionally, NDLEA operatives are intercepted also 1 million pills of opioids in Bauchi State. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
A 43-year-old female makeup artist was arrested on Monday, June 16, 2025 at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, while attempting to board a flight to India. 2 large parcels of cocaine weighing 2.20 kilograms were found concealed in the walls of her suitcase. She claimed she was traveling for financial benefit under the pretext of seeking surgery to remove fibroid. Further investigation revealed she was recruited and funded by a drug baron currently at large. Similarly, on June 19, 2025, NDLEA operatives intercepted a shipment of sewn female dresses containing 1.3 kilograms of loud, a strong strain of cannabis heading to Bahrain, and 850 grams of cocaine concealed in cloth hangers heading to Australia. On June 16, 2025, NDLEA officers arrested 2 persons along Bauchi-Darazo Road, recovering 1,113,000 pills of opioids, including tramadol, diazepam, and Exol 5. Additionally, a 22-year-old female student of Kwara State Polytechnic was arrested with 1 kilogram of skunk at her base along Kwara Poly Road, Ilorin. While in Benin, operatives raided 2 supermarkets on June 19, 2025, arresting 2 female suspects with assorted illicit drugs, including Colorado, loud, Molly, tramadol, and other opioids. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And from the food basket of the nation and following directives of President Bola Tinubu for the formation of a peace committee comprising critical stakeholders, including past governors of Benue, in finding lasting solution to insecurity in the state, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has met with the Ochidoma, His Royal Majesty John Eliagu Odobo, to interface with the people of Benue South Senatorial District. Blessing Omeche Ebute completes the story.
It could be recalled that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had, during his visit to commiserate with the state over the spate of killings, directed that a peace committee be constituted to proffer solutions to end insurgency attacks on communities in Benue State. The meeting of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, is in fulfillment of that mandate by Mr. President. The SGF, Senator George Akume, who commiserated with the people over the attacks in the Benue South Senatorial District, expressed the need for peace mechanisms to arrest the ugly development and restore peace in the communities.
Part of this peace-building process that has invited my visit to His Royal Majesty the Totiv, and from there I proceeded to see His Royal Majesty the Ochidoma. I'm so encouraged by their comments and their total commitment to maintenance of peace. The government will do everything to ensure that those who perpetrated these dastardly acts were brought to book.
While taxing stakeholders in the zone to complement the efforts of President Tinubu by coming together to achieve the much-needed peace for the state, the paramount ruler of the Idoma nation, His Royal Majesty John Eliagu Odobo, stressed the need for everyone to prioritize peace through collaboration and unity. The SGF had earlier met with the Totiv in his private residence in Makudi, where they had a closed-door meeting. With the President's directives, stakeholders advocate sincere conversations that will lead to deliberate actions rather than politicizing the issue of insecurity, while the killings and sacking of communities across Benue State persist. Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
We'll bring you more details as we take on this break. Stay with us.
Let's have credible elections at the local government so that these credible people can manage the funds of local government properly.
There are a lot of respected traditional rulers in the state who can say, look, enough of this thing. Mr. Governor, welcome. Thank you for coming. When you win, what will you do?
I was the first woman that mobilized women within the local government to form the National Council of Women Society by creating awareness in women that they must serve, they must be part of what is happening within their community.
If you stop expenditure on infrastructure, how do you now attract investments?
The state governors, the presidency, that the federal government and the local government are all waiting for revenue from crude oil.
Every state has something peculiar. So the emphasis now, if your local government has something peculiar to that particular local government, the emphasis should be keep producing that particular product.
We need to do three things. Prevent the ability of the terrorist groups to generate funding, their ability to recruit, and then their ability to access weapons.
The traditional ruler gives me a title. I sit in the front row in the church, or if I'm going to mosque and I'm calling people are passing in God's own house. What am I doing? I'm mentoring a new generation who think that the only way to be taken seriously is to be seen to have a lot of money.
Good Morning Nigeria, live every weekday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the network service of the NTA.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, more stories. A recent comment made by Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, in which he accused President Bola Tinubu of supporting the annulment of the June 12 election 1993 presidential election, has been debunked by the presidency. Sule Lamido's claims that Tinubu's mother, late Abibatu Mogaji, mobilized market women to back the annulment were allegations described as false but rather Lamido as Secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, the party whose candidate MKO Abiola won the June 12 election, was among those who failed to oppose the military injustice, while Senator Bola Tinubu stood firm even before late General Abacha dissolved the political parties and all democratic institutions, including the National Assembly, on November 17, 1993, following his coup. Bayo Onanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, in a press release says President Bola Tinubu and other Democrats played crucial role by opposing the June 12, 1993 election and advised Lamido to check his facts before going to the press. President Tinubu, he says, was and remains a steadfast advocate for democracy. Now, after 7 decades of profound contributions to national development, journalists in the country now have a renewed task of promoting Nigeria's narrative firsts in the face of modern realities. Ayodeji Makinde reports on this, which was central at the celebration of journalistic excellence, book presentation, and the future of the media at the Nigeria Union of Journalists at 70.
Nigeria Union of Journalists, adjudged to be a key driver to independence in 1960 and the inevitable return to democratic rule in 1999, is now up against realities, notably the threat of artificial intelligence and quackery. The convergence served as a reality check with paper presentation, launching of a book titled The Bleeding Ink, and a renewed call by President Bola Tinubu represented to all journalists to champion the cause of Nigeria's democratic progress.
The media not only honors the sacrifices that birthed our democracy, but also helps to promote national cohesion and public trust in democratic institutions.
This moment reinforces the crucial responsibility of reporters to continue advocating for the robust democracy.
We cannot afford to shy away from technology. The reality is that AI will need human complementarity.
Father of the day, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba, led other experts in fields of journalism in calling for stricter sanctions on imposters.
Set up a website at which you must publish the list of those of us who are trained journalists. We are daily being embarrassed by some people who are not trained, who have no knowledge of the profession.
At a time like this, when other people are painting the narratives of Nigeria to suit their own mindset, we must say no and begin to tell our own stories in our own way.
Beyond the cultural display, 7 individuals were recognized for their outstanding contributions to the continuous development of the Nigeria Union of Journalists in Abuja. Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Foundational supporters of child education are calling for a stronger emphasis on entrepreneurship within the school curriculum, stressing that such focus is essential not only for personal development, but will advance Nigeria's efforts to reduce import dependency and foster local innovation. This message resonated at the 2025 open house of Benford International School, Abuja, themed Produce Your Need. Oluseye Adeabo reports.
At its heart, branding is about identity.
The concept is rooted in the philosophy of catching them young. Adolescence, they say, is a formative period when curiosity is high and the appetite for responsibility and self-expression begins to grow.
These tote bags were handmade by us from the scratch.
As with most open house events, Benford International School Showcase provided parents and guests with a glimpse into the school's unique educational philosophy. It also highlighted the integration of academic, vocational and creative curricula to develop well-rounded learners.
What do you guys do?
Key holders, palms and belts, and paintings.
Among the proud parents in attendance was Mustafa Aliyu, who expressed joy watching his son present as part of Team Onyx, which exhibited artwork rich in aesthetics and cultural relevance.
It is very, very impressive, and we call on all schools to emulate what Benford is doing, because truly skill and education, that's the only way in a society like Nigeria.
What I'm putting up on my head, made by Team Pearl, it's amazing. I got car wash and I'm impressed, beyond impressed. So kudos to Benford International School.
Beyond the presentations, the event sparked meaningful conversation between educators and families.
I learned how to make a headband, fascinator, Zara cap, the styled one in the market. About that I can make money at my small age.
It has also taught me that it's better to produce your own stuff than to just buy.
That Benford is succeeding in developing a holistic child. Children that can, be very skillful and make money from it.
From the project implementer standpoint, the open house was more than a display. It is a platform to reimagine what 21st century learning should look like.
Really looking to raise holistically all aspects of the child's development, academics, but also this more vocational approach, and obviously to develop into the business leaders of the future in Nigeria.
Sustainability plan is, from what we have done now, we have identified key skills in the children. So when we're discussing with their parents, we're telling them this is what is outstanding about your child, and that will make them push it further.
With confidence in their stride and knowledge gained in abundance, Benford's young learners didn't just showcase skills, they offered a glimpse into a future full of potential. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And with that report, we conclude the news. Thank you for watching. I'm Nancy Godiangoniyo. Bye.